As the man in the pinstripe suit grows a little more calm, he snaps his fingers. The light fixtures, emanating flame, scorching the walls and beginning to spread, suddenly go out. The fire completely subsided, the scorch marks seeming to dissipate as if they were never there to begin with. The fixtures themselves pulling themselves back together. Meanwhile, I just sat there, completely dumbfounded and lost in thought, an endless whirl of possibilities rolling through my mind. Cyclical cycles, emerging patterns and structures, repeating stories in time. What does it all mean? I thought to myself. I clasped onto the cane on the table, looking over at the man in the pinstripe suit. Still there, still smiling, still glowing that ominous red, heat waves rising from his form as he glared at me. So what are you saying? The re-emerging patterns, the structure of our stories are the same. Are you saying that I'm destined to be you? Is that it? That regardless of choice or will, that I'm just going to become you? That's my destiny? The man in the pinstripe suit stood tall, straightening his suit, aligning his tie. No, young Reginald, not quite, he replied. You have only just begun the pattern. It is not yet complete. The cycle has not yet taken its full form. The pattern is yet to completely emerge. There is still every opportunity for it to change, for your will, your actions, your beliefs, and those of those around you to pull you away from the pattern, to change its structure and therefore change the end result. You could, in fact, become someone entirely different. Someone boring or passé. Simply become another educated businessman in the mix. As of yet, nothing is set. Destiny has not yet been written. The pattern has not taken its full course, and thus the end result is not guaranteed. I have seen the pattern begin to emerge on countless occasions, young Reginald, but it rarely reaches its completion. You see, there is a very real problem, Reginald. You see, out of the chaos that exists in this world and the order that it creates, and vice versa, there are countless patterns that exist, countless occurrences bound to reoccur, countless patterns coming in conflict with each other, attempting to rewrite each other for their own well-being and sakes, for their own profit. This is all the will of destiny. You see, destiny, young Reginald, is a great machine, an ever-present, ever-encompassing machine. Everything you see and experience around you is a part of that machine. People are patterns and fall into structure. These structures interact with each other, generating results. But ever there is the question of why, Reginald. Why do these patterns exist? Why do they emerge and re-emerge again and again? The answer is simple, Reginald. Because the universe needs them to. If you understand magic, then you should understand it. The balance. The immense energies that course through every fiber of this universe, that sustain all things and hold it all together. One big infinite machine, powering itself from within. And just like any machine, it requires moving parts, mechanisms that fulfill functions and provide power to the machine. And so into the fabric of creation itself, patterns were woven. These almost seemingly nonsensical specific patterns that re-emerge are simply the way that the universe maintains itself, its balance, its order, its power. Even the act of using magic itself is simply taking advantage of a pattern, a structure, Reginald. Utilizing that structure in order to generate power, and using that power to do your will. The deepest workings of the universe are no different. We who reside within it are the patterns, Reginald. We are the spells cast by the universe, created to fulfill functions, to run the machine, to fulfill the purpose. Our pattern as well as everyone else's, they're all meant to create life and energy, the essence that fuels all things. There is intense power in patterns, Reginald. Magic itself is defined by this. You who have just collected your first enhancement item should only now start to become aware of these patterns. Think about it, Reginald. The facets that go into creating magical enhancement objects and the materials that make them. The patterns, Reginald. Patterns of events coinciding, happening in set time frames, numerology, alignments of forces, all forming powerful patterns. These patterns creating energy, effects, little machines in the cogs of the universe. For all that we as developed beings claim to be, we are still yet but patterns. Some patterns are more powerful than others, and fulfill a greater purpose within the machine, but we are still patterns nonetheless. The problem being, Reginald, that some patterns are far more dangerous than others, and possess far more power. Just like magic, the more complex the pattern, the harder it is to achieve in this maelstrom of chaos that we know as life. And the harder that pattern is to achieve, the greater the power that comes when it is. Understand, Reginald, that destiny is a cruel mistress. All patterns in the universe exist because it is necessary that they do. However, even destiny itself finds certain patterns far too dangerous. When these patterns are completed, the results are so powerful they could bring damage to the great machine, unstabilize the balance that exists within things, that maintains the universe. And so just as well as these powerful patterns exist, there exist other patterns. These patterns' sole purpose is to contradict our own, to counterbalance us. In essence, Regimen, destiny believes that our pattern is too dangerous to fulfill itself, and so it creates other patterns designed to stop ours from coming into being, to waylay and contradict that pattern or end it altogether, and in doing so, maintain the great machine, the safety of all things. Basically, Reginald, the universe wants to kill you, and me, and all those who fit the pattern, to exterminate us before we can complete it, before the pattern fully emerges. You cannot tell me that you have not noticed this yourself, Reginald. All the problems that seem to stack, one after the other. Your life and the events therein becoming ever the more complicated as time passes. You gain more power, only to find that power challenged by a greater one. You seek safety, only to find greater danger awaiting you. You wish for peace, and yet upon you a never-ending war of conflict. This is the universe itself trying to balance the patterns, weaving the strings of destiny themselves to conspire against us. Our pattern, Reginald, is a cruel one. But if you can survive it, there is great power in store for those who complete the pattern. Reginald P. Worthington.